Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Monday Musings, Danny and Friends SportsWrap. It's presented by Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Take advantage of the great services I take advantage of, and my wife does too. Go to any of the 8 locations all around the Kansas City area, convenient to wherever you are in the KC Metro, and get your back feeling better, your knees feeling better, your feet feeling better. That's my wife's specialty. Neuropathy out the window for her with ASFCA. Got it right. And we're getting it right today as far as an epic day of Kansas City sports. We've got basically almost concurrently the Royals and the Chiefs playing. Chiefs Monday Night Football against the Saints. We'll talk about all the football tomorrow, so it's the rest of the story today, including the Royals, who will play at 6:40 and on Monday, Game 2, after a really tough and disappointing, I'll say disappointing about 10 times when I talk to David Lesky coming up next, I would imagine. So we'll talk with David Lesky from Inside the Crown about the Royals and the rest of the story in baseball, as well as the soccer action over the weekend as sporting's kind of whimpering to a close, and the Current are still a great story in Kansas City sports in this summer now entered into fall. All of that straight ahead. It's Monday Musings, Danny and Friends SportsWrap, presented by ASFCA. First up, the Royals, with David Lesky from Inside the Crown.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
It's always a pleasure to catch up with Dr. Brad Woodle from Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. There are 8 locations all around Kansas City, including the newest one in Raytown.
In Raytown, we just joined Raytown July 1st. We took over for a retiring doctor, Dr. David Frey, and we are just honored to see all of his patients and take care of the Raytown community.
And communities all around Kansas City with the best of care in a wide variety of fashions.
We do chiropractic using multiple techniques: acupuncture, disc decompression therapy, cold laser therapy, different physiotherapies, exercises, whatever you need for your bones, muscles, joints, and nerve pain, we can help.
Find that help at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture, 8 locations all around Kansas City. Visit ASFCA.com.
Enjoy all the excitement of football season at the 23rd Street Brewery. From the Jayhawks and college football to the NFL and even live-streamed Lawrence High and Free State football games, you can watch it all at the 23rd Street Brewery. Enjoy the games with your favorite menu item like the Bill Self Mac and Cheese, Naked Nachos, or the Haney Turkey Stack. And wash it all down with your favorite beer like a Wave the Wheat or Crimson Fog. 23rd Street Brewery on the corner of Clinton Parkway and Cassold in Lawrence.
If you'd like to join these and other fine sponsors and market your business to Kansas City's #1 variety podcast, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to working with you. Welcome back to Monday Musings, Danny and Friends SportsWrap. It's presented by ASFCA, as I noted in the open. And as I also noted, it is always great to be joined by David Lesky Inside the Crown. We get to move football to Tuesday because of the Chiefs, so lots of baseball and a few other things on the Musings this time around. And David, your overarching thing about this first game has got to be disappointment, because the Royals haven't been scoring any runs. They had scored 23 runs in the previous 13 games, which is remarkable that they clinched a playoff spot and won a series with that span. So they get 5, and they don't win. And there are a lot of ways along the way. The game set a major league record for most lead changes in a postseason game, and in the end, just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, I mean, the positive is the Yankees were not better than the Royals. I felt like they were equals. Mm-hmm. The negative is that doesn't matter in a 5-game series. Right. You have to win 3 games before they win 3, and to lose one of them, it's tough, and it speaks to, in some ways, the randomness of a short series. And I think the Yankees are the better team, so I don't think that the Yankees winning is truly random. But it just shows that one hiccup can completely change the complexion of the series, because they're down 1-0 now, 0-1, whatever how you want to put it. Right. And now they've got to win 3 out of 4. And before if they had won, they would have had to win 2 out of 4. It's just, it's an abrupt turn with every game, mm-hmm. and it's disappointing. But I think you have to feel pretty good that if you're going to lose in a way that you got to their ace, you did not lose with your best. They barely won with their best. And your best hitters didn't do anything.
Right.
Which they have to do something moving forward. But all that, I think you have to feel good about the chance that you can win 3 out of 4. It's just it's a tough road.
It is a tough road, and what we saw is playoff baseball is different. I think during a regular season game, both pitchers, maybe especially Waka, would have been allowed to go a little bit further. When you open the bullpen gate, you never know what you're going to get. The Yankees' bullpen was better. It's not supposed to be better, and the Royals have been hot in the bullpen. They weren't dreadful or anything, but first of all, the decision to pull Waka after 70, he had looked bad in that inning.
Yeah, I mean, he walked Gleyber Torres, although he should have struck him out. That 2-2 pitch was a perfect pitch that was called ball 3. So I mean, there were some questionable calls, but I actually didn't have a problem with him coming back out to face Torres, because even though he'd given up a walk and a home run to him, I didn't think he'd pitched him poorly, and I don't really have a huge issue with, especially with the way Serpa had pitched with runners on base. I didn't really have an issue with the concern over a clean inning for him. I think Waka was basically being used in that situation as a one-out guy. He was being used as the righty-on-righty matchup, and then they were going to go to Serpa for Soto, Judge, and Austin Wells. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I guess I'm trying to think. I don't have a huge issue with anything. Like, maybe I would have gone to Daniel Lynch instead, because he hasn't pitched either.
Right.
Which that gets to be an interesting question too. Like, guys like him, and I know you didn't ask this, but Paul DeYoung, who hasn't played, and I don't think Adam Frazier has played, and now they don't play again. Those guys will have all sat for at least a week plus before they get into a game again. Are they ice cold? We don't know what they are. So that's a bigger question too moving forward. But I don't necessarily have a huge issue with any way that inning was handled. It just didn't work. Yeah,
and the way it was handled, unfortunately, just handing the Yankees a couple of runs is just another disappointing aspect of this. You don't. It's hard to win a game where you walk in 2 guys, and that's just free lunch right there. Some of the pitches were close, but they were balls, at least according to the box. So it was extra frustrating.
Yeah, it was. Look, the Yankees deserve credit too, because a lot of teams don't.
The 4 walks in that inning were all 7-pitch walks.
Yeah, and if you look at each of them, I think there were at least 2 pitches in every walk that were, if not borderline, close. And I mean, the walk to Gleyber Torres should have never happened. That was 100% strike 3 on the 2-2 pitch. Right. It's very disappointing to know that is the case. But the rest of them, I mean, the Yankees deserve credit for laying off. The Royals pitched great in the Orioles series. Part of that's because they got the Orioles to chase a little bit. The Yankees, after Waka left, they chased Waka a bit. But after Waka left, they were not chasing. And like I said, I think every single one of the 3 walks after Waka's first walk, it's hard to say Waka's walks.
Yes.
But after that, I think every single one of them, there were at least 2 pitches that in watching the game, went, that's a really good pitch. They just didn't swing at it. And what can, at some point, you got to come in the zone. And that's what a good offense does, is they make you come in the zone, because they won't swing at the pitch that's an inch and a half off the plate. Whereas the teams that are, anywhere between bad to pretty good, they will swing at that. And you can get away with some things. But the Yankees didn't swing at it, so credit to them too.
And adding to the litany of disappointments is the fact that the Royals usually don't get much from the rest of the lineup below Sal Perez. And in this game, they had 8 hits. Michael Massey had a couple at the top of the lineup. Just hard to win when your big boys go 1 for 12.
Yeah, 1 for 14, actually.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 1 for 14. You're exactly right.
Yeah. It's, in some ways you go, okay, well, that's not going to happen again, in all likelihood. But if they don't go, let's say it's 4 for 14, which is a 286 average, you feel good about that, probably.
Yep.
But if the bottom of the lineup doesn't produce, does it matter? I don't know. And you just wish they could all get in sync once, which they just have not done in a while. Because and I was on Channel 5 on after the game and basically said the same thing. It was, look, the key to this series is you theoretically going to be the bottom of the Royals lineup. And they came through, and it didn't matter because the top of the lineup, Massey did okay, but the top of the lineup didn't come through. And, I don't think you will anticipate Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, and Salvador Perez going 1 for 14 very often in a game, but they did it, and hopefully, if and when they don't do it, the bottom of the lineup continues to hit like they did. But it's a disappointing loss because there were a lot of things that went right that are the recipe for beating an ace with your 3 on the mound, and it just didn't happen.
Including Aaron Judge striking out 3 times and going 0 for 4, and now he'll face a left-hander, and you feel like that's dangerous. But also, it's got to start to get. This guy plays in New York. It's a tough place to play, and he's been really pretty bad in the postseason. Now he's hit some home runs, but his average now is right around 200 in his playoff career. He struck out 3 times in this game, which could have cost his team badly. I would think that he's going to be pressing a little bit.
You would think, and it's interesting because his offensive issues, the total postseason numbers are actually really boosted by his early career postseason. I put this in the series preview a couple days ago, before yesterday. In the last 3 trips to the postseason, combined 143, 208, 357.
Right.
So the overall numbers, which are bad, are actually way better than what he's been recently. And look, Yankees fans are relentless. They don't care if you hit 58 home runs or 62 home runs. They care if you hit the big home run or the big hit in the postseason. And if you don't, you're going to hear it. And I don't care how mentally strong you are. At some point, you're pressing. At some point, you go, I got to get a hit. And now he's got to do that against Cole Reagans, who's going to throw 97 up in the zone. And maybe he will. Maybe he will, and it'll break the dam, and he'll be fine for the rest of his career. Or maybe he has another bad game, and it starts to snowball, which maybe it already has over the last 3 postseasons. But yeah, it's you want to win the games that he doesn't do well in, but also in the postseason, there's been a lot of games he doesn't do well in.
Well, one guy who did well is Juan Soto, and if you are a fan of entertainment, you're like Juan Soto. If you're on the other team's fans, you don't like him. There's no more hot dog in baseball than him. I love watching him ham it up after taking a pitch. I think it's fun, but he looks like he's just built for things like this. It is the big stage. He loves it. He had 3 hits in the game. He was entertaining up there. I think he's a danger man the rest of the series.
He is. But you know what, too, on Soto, and this is just another example of, wow, this is really disappointing. 2 of his hits, I mean, if they were a foot to either side, are double plays. Mm-hmm. And it's just, and that's not to play into the randomness of the postseason, but that's kind of the randomness, right? It's that they got the ground ball. Serpa got a ground ball. He made a really good pitch on Soto, and he just rolled it through the middle. It was well placed and good. That's not to take anything away from them. It's just there are a lot of things that can go one way or another in the regular season. That you go, it's one game. In the postseason, one game means more, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Just to go back to the original point of the postseason meaning more and being more important.
And the other disappointment here is, I just keep saying disappointment, but it was a 1-run loss, and as you said, you need 3, and their bullpen has to start feeling a little bit better. They've been maligned. Yeah. Holmes pitched great. The Royals got 2 hits and 1 walk in the 4 innings that the bullpen pitched, and Luke Weaver's got to be feeling himself too after whiffing 3 of the 4 guys that he faced.
Yeah, Weaver's been really good all season long, and especially in September. But yeah, a lot of these guys have struggled. I mean, Clay Holmes was their closer, and now he's not. and it's interesting for him because he's going to be a free agent, and so if he can have a big postseason, he's got a lot individually on the line this postseason because he lost the closer's job. But if he can go out and shut teams down, it doesn't matter what anything, he's probably going to get on their closer's job this winter. So he's got a lot to play for. But yeah, you're right. You don't want to get a team hot. The phrase "don't let me get hot." Well, you might be letting the Yankees bullpen get hot, and they had a really good approach, I thought.